I returned to Quaramonte and found that Georges had left a message with Conchita. He'd already left for the Indian village, so I hurried to catch up with him. When I arrived, I found a scene of desolation. These sunglasses are Georges. Georges, where are you? Titipoco, I'm almost glad to see you. You little asshole! What happened here? Are you responsible for this? And where's Georges? Have you seen him? He was pointing to the remains of a burned-out hut.
This is actually quite upsetting.
It was Titipoco. I still hadn't forgiven him for knocking me out with his poisoned dart. These are Georges' shades, right? Has he been here?
Jaws!
Where is he now? What's that? It looks like the stone we bought from Paris, but it's different. Yes, it has a carving of an eagle. That clinches it. Georges must have found this stone in the Caribbean and managed to hide the stone when the village was attacked by Carzac's men. I hope to God that Georges was all right. Where's Georges? Georges has been here, right? He was pointing to the smoldering remains of a hut.
Before we look at that smouldering remains, we have some underpants to pick up.
One thing I was sure of, those underpants weren't Georges.
How does she know that?
Maybe Georges can make use of these. That barrel would have looked great on my patio, filled with shrubs. There was nothing in the barrel. It was a small drinking vessel made from some kind of gourd. That cup was no use to me. It had a hole in it. It was a smashed lantern, probably the cause of this destruction. I didn't need the lantern since it was still daylight. Besides, it was broken. It was a very hot and blackened stone. It was too hot to pick up. The underpants weren't thick enough to protect my hands. The water could have cooled the stone if I could figure out a way of getting it into the barrel. I just didn't have the strength to tip that barrel. Hey, Shorty! Make yourself useful and help me with this barrel. Thanks. The ground was covered with ashes. Ashes! The thought that they might be human chilled me to the bone. It was the Coyote stone, the original stone that I found in Paris. I had the coyote and jaguar stones, Titipoco had the eagle, according to the shaman. That's all we needed to deal with Tezcatlipoca. Pity he hadn't any ideas for dealing with Karzak. What is it? Where are you pointing?
I believe he's pointing this way.
We arrived to find Georges being led up the stairs. We clearly didn't have much time.
Talking about remains, I didn't actually see any human remains in that village. They burnt it down, so hopefully the people are okay. Although that may be wishful thinking.
It was Titipoco, my newfound ally. Would you like some chocolate, Titipoco? It's good vintage. You're smarter than you look. How did you hook up with a maniac like Karzak in the first place?
Karzak? Whoop whoop loco!
Yes, he scares me too. It was a length of strong rope. Titipoco, any ideas what I can do with this rope? He just looked at me. If anybody was going to come up with a plan, it was going to have to be me. The scaffold gantry went all the way up the pyramid. The scaffold gantry went all the way up the pyramid.
Okay, I thought that she may have attempted to climb it.
It was a simple wooden platform lift, used for shifting equipment, I presumed. The engine looked like it was supposed to power the lift. It was a small but very enticing button. The button didn't seem to do anything. There was a lever mounted on the side of the motor.
Okay, I guess that is not working.
It was an old electricity generator. It was an old electricity generator. It was a small screw-fit cylindrical housing. It looked like a fuel line. It looked like Karzak was using Quaramontean troops and local Indians as his guards. No way did I want to get into conversation with that pack of vermin. There was an unlit torch by the base of the steps.
Hey, señorita!
Too late. I had been seen. Bonjour, Capitaine.
Only Sergeant, pretty one. What are you doing here?
Snuggles said I could come here with him.
Snuggles?
Oh, I mean the General. We're, friends. May I go up the pyramid?
We have strict instructions not to let anybody pass.
Oh, but I've told you who I am. Surely nobody would mind.
Well,
Oh, please, I'd be ever so grateful.
I tell you what. I'll ask Pablo if it's okay for you to go up.
If Pablo saw me, I'd be dead. No, it's not worth the bother. I'm not really that interested in their stupid pyramid anyway.
Well, okay. It's men's work up there anyway.
I'll just run along and play around here, okay?
Okay, you do that.
It looked like Karzak was using Quaramontean troops and local Indians as his guards. I didn't want to push my luck by talking with the guards again. It looked like Karzak was using Quaramontean troops and local Indians as his guards.
Okay, let's move on.
I could think of no reason why I would want to pull a heavy torch from the ground. Those jackals weren't going to let me past. The steps were guarded by a bunch of Karzak's thugs.
It seems like we need some sort of fuel for this engine right here.
The cap was attached to the lift engine by a chain.
Okay, let's sever this fuel line.
It looked like a fuel line. The fuel from the severed line had formed a pool.
Nika only poured a very small amount of fuel in there. Is that going to be enough?
The motor spluttered into life. The engine was working okay, but it wasn't connected to the equipment lift. The engine stopped dead. Titipoco, I have an important job for you. Take this rope to the top of this scaffolding and throw it over the top.
Rope.
What did he do to that rope? It's suddenly grown in size quite exponentially.
The rope hung down from the top of the gantry. The motor spluttered into life.
It seems like we are going to need some help here.
Titipoco, when I tell you, I want you to copy what I am doing.
Copy.
Okay? Copy. Georges! I realized those bastards were going to sacrifice Georges to Tezcatlipoca over my dead body. Thankfully, Georges was the only one to notice me.
Where are they? The eclipse is about to happen.
Patience.
Your mother will be here soon and Karzak will be close behind. Just keep the Yankee covered and leave the worrying to others.
Yeah, Raoul.
The maniacs were going to sacrifice Georges!
Shut up, Stobart. Just shut up!
Calm down. He's no threat.
Hey, Raoul. Why don't you do us both a favor and shoot Pablo?
You're very funny, Stobart. I haven't forgotten Marseille. When Karzak cuts your heart out, I'll be the one laughing.
I'll bet I'm not the only one due for the chop around here either. Hey, Raoul? I'm warning you.
Raoul was a bundle of raw nerves. I hoped Georges wouldn't push him too far. There were a few sealed crates and drums. None of them looked like they might be useful. The crates and drums were sealed, and I had no way of getting into them. Karzak's goons had left an ammunition belt lying around. It was Pablo, Karzak's right-hand sadist. If Pablo had seen me, he'd have killed me. It was as simple as that. It smelled coppery, like blood. The whole place stank like an abattoir. I couldn't get near the pot unseen. General Raoul Graziento. I didn't fancy Raoul's chances once Karzak didn't need him anymore. I might have been able to talk the general around if Pablo hadn't been there. It was a stone table. Given the history of the place, I wondered how many poor wretches had lost their lives and hearts upon it. Karzak and his pet vermin had got Georges tied to the sacrificial table. I had to come up with a plan, or he was as good as dead.
We can't do anything from that position. And with these guards here, so we need to create a distraction. Ah, yes. We need to set it on fire first.
Titipoco, do you still have that lighter gun you pulled on me so amusingly?
What's going on over there? Do you need help, my pretty?
Nothing's wrong. I dropped, a cigarette butt. Everything is under control. I'll have the fire out in a minute or two.
What's that? What's happening?
Trouble.
Give it up. The pyramid's surrounded.
I'll find out what the trouble is. Watch Stobart doesn't pull any tricks. If he does, shoot him in the head, not through the heart.
Why does it matter? He'll be dead either way.
His heart belongs to Tezcatlipoca.
That's not true. We just had dinner a couple of times.
I'm not sure if you noticed, but the ammunition reappeared here and then disappeared halfway through the cutscene.
General Raoul Graziento. I didn't fancy Raoul's chances once Karzak didn't need him anymore. Drop the gun or I shoot!
Please, don't hurt me!
Don't worry yourself, my finger isn't loaded.
Nico, what are you doing here?
Firstly, I'm going to set Georges free, and then screw up Karzak's scheme.
No, I can't let you do that. Karzak has promised me power.
Raoul, wake up. The only thing Karzak has on offer is death. You may want to ask Oublier, except you can't. Karzak murdered him.
You're lying. Oubier's in Europe.
Sure, he's in Europe. In London, on a mortuary slab with 2 bullet holes in him.
But Karzak promised. When he frees Tezcatlipoca, we'll all be granted great power.
Listen to her, Raoul. Karzak's insane.
I don't know. I need to think.
You've let your mother do your thinking for you up to now. You need to think for yourself. Your mother and Karzak think alike. There's only one expendable member of the plan left, and that's you.
Mother would never betray me.
Oh, I'm tired of trying to reason with you, Raoul. Titipoco. Watch this man, and if he makes a move, shoot him with your gun. Hold still, Georges. I don't want to sacrifice you by accident.
You have no idea how glad I am to see you.
They were going to cut your heart out. I think I can guess. We can save the happy reunions for later. We've got to move. Come on!
We're safe.
This is a dead end.
We're toast. I know, Titipoco. I'm not too happy here either.
He knows this is Tezcatlipoca's pyramid, the house of the enemy.
Well, we can't stay here like rats in a trap.
And we can't go out the way we came in. It would be suicide. I'll have a look round. Maybe there's another way out. In the meantime... Take this. It's the Coyote Stone. It might bring you luck, I hope.
You managed to recover the stones from the village? Then we might have a chance after all. Incidentally, what would Titipoco have done if Graciento had moved?
Titipoco? Nothing. He's given up violence. By the door was a pattern picked out in blue. The pattern meant nothing to me. Outside was certain death. On the wall was an intricate pattern in blue and gold. The pattern seemed to have only religious significance. There was a large image on the wall of a man in ceremonial garb. More usefully, there were also a couple of levers. The lever was made of stone. Oof! The lever was very difficult to move and appeared to do nothing anyway. It was Titipoco. This was a time for action, not talk. It was Georges, just rescued from certain death and not looking suitably grateful. Georges?
Yeah?
That lever didn't seem to do anything.
Know what I say? Nil desperandum.
Georges, sometimes I could just punch you.
Do it. Please do it.
Heave! Still no good. Georges?
Yeah?
Georges, I can only pull one lever at a time, and I think we need to pull both together.
Okay, I'm up for that.
Raoul, there's something suspicious this sacrifice! Where is it?
Nico was here with Titipoco. They set him free. I couldn't stop them.
You idiot! I should have strangled you at birth. Titipoco's gone soft. He wouldn't have hurt you.
I know that.
The darkness of this sun is almost upon us, and we have no sacrifice to appease Tezcatlipoca. Have you any idea what your incompetence will cost us?
I think so. And I'm glad.
What?
The Mayans weren't fools. Tezcatlipoca should stay exactly where they put him.
Finally got some backbone from somewhere, huh? Shame it's so late in the day.
I'd rather die than see you and Karzak with that devil's power.
Fine, we're still a sacrifice short. See, the eclipse begins. Pablo, kill him! Tezcatlipoca can feed upon his yellow heart.
Nico was right all along, but it's still not too late. Come on then, Pablo. Let's see who sacrifices who.